Yo, guys, welcome back to Undefeated at Locals. If you didn't gather from that intro, we are going to be talking about the North American Nats today. Um, First of all, thanks for keeping watching, guys. We're finally back from the national
Yeah,
event.
back from getting sick after the national
Yeah,
event, all the
testing
traveling.
before the national event, all the
Yeah,
traveling. So sorry about the lack of videos, but we'll be right back to daily uploads now that we're back. But yeah, let's talk about it. First thing I want to mention, as this video is not going to be the most positive content you've ever seen, easily the best thing that happened at Nats was you guys. So many of you came up to me and Edgar talking about our channel, talking about how much you guys have enjoyed our content. We cannot tell you how much we loved and appreciated that. We love making these videos for you. No matter how bad that event was, you guys made it killer for us. So super appreciate that. But yeah, let's get into it. So we get in there Friday, right? We finally get to the convention center. How did Friday go for us?
Friday was so the telltale, right, was we had gone in, we had found where the Universus was, and we stepped outside for a minute, while we're waiting for the rest of the homies to catch up, and a guy walks in and he asked us because we're talking about Universe. He asked us, "Hey, do you guys know where the Universus event is?" We're like, "Yeah, it's in there. It's in the back corner." And the quintessential response was, "Of course it
Of
is."
course, it is. Of course, it was in the back corner. Definitely not what you want to hear from your community, from your fan base. Even when we walked in, me and Edgar just kind of assumed, let's just head to the back wall. We're probably shoved somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the event starts off, we're getting prepped. Most of us were in the retro event, their specialty side event, so most of us were waiting for that. Edgar here was not, though. He did not sign up, so you were waiting for side events.
I sure was. So, yeah, I had not planned. Like, I had thought about joining the retro event. I just didn't end up doing it. It's like, screw it. I'm just gonna play in like a handful of constructed side events or whatever pops up. Right? I'm like, there's got to be a ton. There was not a ton,
No, they're
guys.
sure.
Uh, yeah. The retro event was dope. Like they that was great.
Yes, Richard was easily the highlight of the weekend. The only complaint that I heard from most people is that there wasn't a top cut, right? It was unfortunately an event that cut to standings, which was fine for the limited resources they had, limited employees. But yeah, easily the highlight of the weekend, which is honestly pretty unfortunate for a national level event, but
Yeah. It was a dope event. They should have had. The thing is, I decided I was going to sign up for side events. I was tired. I didn't want to run 9 rounds of retro, right?
yeah,
That's why
fair.
I didn't sign up. So I was like, I'll do some 3 round, nothing events, and it'll be fine. I signed up for one, was removed because it was a precog, a precon, uh, precon, um, which was okay. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went up and asked, like, do I just get 8 people together because I can do that? And oh, we're not going to run it that way anymore. We're gonna have 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, we're going to be firing an event. This was at 2 p.m. I was told this.
Turns out that was a lie.
That was a lie. I saw the first event go live at 4 p.m. and it was scheduled for 6. So I'm like, that's interesting because that's the last event
Yeah.
and there's nothing in between. Uh, and around 4, another event went up 4-4. And then another event went up 4-5. So I was told there would be potentially 8 events, and there was really 3. I got to participate in one side event the whole day.
Yeah, and it was the one that I did with you while
Yeah,
doing retro. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, side events already off to a horrible start on Friday. We obviously were attempting to play an actual side events, not last chance qualifiers. And oh boy, were last chance qualifiers worse than we ever could have expected. So as most of you know, they announce the general idea before all of this happens is that invitees would not be able to play in LCQs, period. End of story. You do not get to sign up. few weeks later, we're told that yes, we actually can sign up, we can play, and invites will not roll down. So we can actually gatekeep these events, which creates a pretty toxic system. Thankfully, though, our community's pretty sick, so that's not going to happen, right? No, that
Yeah.
would never happen. Instead, what they do, this is not an invites don't roll down. You win these events and you're handed a code. They just give you the code to sign up for the national event. Nothing is being confirmed on site. So there is people, we are very positive, teams created champions that already had an invite to go win invites for their homies. And even worse, I saw somebody trade their Nats promos for one of these invites. How horrible to have to show up to this event, trade your hard earned promo cards, of which there were not many
Yeah.
passed out,
We'll get there.
to then get an invite to finally play in this event. One of the worst ideas for a last chance qualifier I've ever seen. UVS games actually never do that again. I
Yeah.
never, ever want to see a last chance qualifier like that. I was going to mention this at the end of the video, but we'll mention this at the beginning. If that's how the world's LCQ is going to work, please hit me up prior. I will not be traveling to Florida.
Yeah, yeah. The people are going to be if it's the same show,
Yep,
you
yep.
know,
Invitees can join and
invitees will
steal the
yeah,
invite. Not interested. Very
steal
much
it,
not
fucking
interested in
auction
that.
it,
Yeah.
like it'll be
A
it'll
absolute
be
shit
worse than the
show.
points system they had
Yes. Yep.
last season,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. So Friday ends on a pretty sour note for most of our team. Didn't really super go well. Again, retro was a ton of fun. Everything else was very very poorly done. Then we get into Saturday. Swiss rounds and side events. So yeah, Saturday kicks off in a once again pretty poor light. For whatever reason, we all get our table numbers. We all sit down. We're all ready to play. And for whatever reason, UVS Games decides to hand out participation pricing right then and there
A
in
little bit
waves.
at a time. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, a little bit after the timer was supposed to begin. So we're receiving our little national OVA promo. We get our playmats. We get our participation pricing. This takes an amount of time. Round was supposed to start at 10. We didn't. The pricing wasn't done till like I want to say 10:30,
Yeah.
maybe even
Yeah.
after a little bit after that.
Yeah, the start was slow going. Me and my opponent sat there talking as much as we could,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And like it's easier with your locals, right? When you're with your locals, you sit down, you talk about stuff. When you're at a large event like this, you and the opponent, like, yeah, you can have a little bit of talk after the game, but if you're sitting there for 30 minutes before the game, you're just like, I just want to play.
yeah.
I'm tired, you
Yeah, yeah.
know.
We have 9 rounds to get. I have no idea why participation pricing wasn't A, passed out as soon as we walked in for the day.
Hmm.
That should have just been handed out as we walked in. Or B, handed out later, handed out at lunch, handed out at the end of the event after top cuts, which participation pricing, it doesn't actually matter
Yeah,
that much. I don't know why this was so important to pass out during the event. And it only elongated the fact that our next point, the first 3 rounds of Saturday were probably the worst rounds I've ever seen fire in a card game tournament period, let alone just for UVS games. By the time we were firing our third round, Flesh and Blood was announcing their seventh. We started at the same time. UGN went down multiple times during rounds 1 through 3. We had to go to lunch break after round 2
after round two, yeah.
because their system completely died. There was rumors going around that they were considering restarting the event. I hope to God that that was never an
Yeah.
actual consideration. Yeah, it was awful. Rounds 1 through 3 were horrible. By the time we finally get through round 3 after lunch break into round 4, they announced that they're going to fire the last 2 rounds the following day. Rounds
Yeah.
8 and 9 will play out
Yeah.
Sunday.
We were all sitting there, thinking like we're gonna be here until like
Midnight,
1,
1 o'clock.
you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
And they finally announced that they'll be, and it was a weird situation, right? It was a breath of relief, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be here. wait a minute,
Yeah, yep,
we had to come back. Having to come back to Swiss after that grueling day,
yes.
on a day that we were supposed to either be playing in tops or
Tops
playing
or
side
side events.
events.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It was, yeah, it did not make for a very proper event at all. Uh, all of Saturday was taken up with Swiss. UVS Games has done this time and time again. If you're doing well in Swiss, or at least well enough, you're still in contention. You pretty much get punished for that because you're unable to play inside events. The pricing is just not there. We have no cash pricing in this game still, which that's a whole nother conversation. But even the alt arts, even the promo cards, these were being like hoarded by the staff
yeah,
seemingly. Like we walked away with nearly nothing. If you topped, sure, you got tops pricing, but if you're doing just well enough and then get axed out of the last round, it feels really bad.
yeah,
It feels really bad to have spent over $1,000 to come to this event for 4 copies of Back Alley Haymaker that I had to trade for, you
yeah.
know?
That's the pricing, guys. The promo cards, the little alt arts that we get, those should be reigning. We
Yeah,
should have everyone who attends these events should have the opportunity to play for a play set of every single one of them. Top should be getting fistfuls of these cards along with other unique things, right?
absolutely.
Um, but like anyone that showed up got 3-0'd or went 0-3,
Yeah,
even these people that went 0-3 and then couldn't get into any of these side events. They went home with they went home with like 5 or 6 cards maybe
yeah,
and a
yep.
playmat. Like,
Yeah, feels really bad. And yeah, that Saturday, again, Saturday ends on a pretty poor note. A few of our, like, we're not here to super discuss our standings. Our standings weren't super great. I got knocked out of contention around round 5, I want to say. Jose Narono beat me. Went X and 3. I no longer cared for Swiss after that. So a couple of our teammates were still doing pretty good into day 2, but it just felt bad. The event Saturday was awful, and it's even crazier to think that Sunday, I do believe, was the worst day at the event, which is hard to imagine because days 1 and 2 were not good. So we get there on Sunday. We're waiting for the last 2 rounds to fire off. Most of us just ended up playing those for shits and giggles. It is what
yeah,
it is. But we're going into the next specialty side event, teams, which was hands down the singular worst event run in the entire weekend. I'm the team captain for one of our teams. Our other team leader, Ed, is their team captain. We're told to line up for this team's event to get all of our promo cards and to learn the rules. We already know the rules. Everybody else learns the rules. Allegedly, we're going to learn where we're supposed to set up. Neither of those things happened. The judge that they assigned to this, I'm not going to take any shots at people, did not super know what he was doing. I'm not sure if it was just misinformation, whatever it was. I'm not here to knock people, but it made for a pretty terrible time. We weren't even really told what tables we were supposed to meet at, so we basically just collected these promo cards, went back to where we were sitting. Maybe 20, 30 minutes later, it finally got announced where we would be, where the teams are going to be set up. Several different teams played with several different rules of how you were supposed to fire your round.
yep,
Generally, in these events, you're supposed to roll a set of dice, the team captains roll off. Whoever wins gets to select their first matchup, so on and so forth. Then the matchups play out. Some of us, my team, were told that that's not how it works. You sit down in front of whoever you sit down in front of and you play off. Other teams rolled dice. By the end of the event, I gathered that they figured out that we were supposed to be rolling dice. That super did not help my team after we took our loss after that.
yeah,
So yeah, very, very horribly run event. $30 once again just got us a singular copy of Back Alley Haymaker.
yep,
Feels really, really bad. Going into the next side events, there wasn't any.
yeah. I think there was, so a lot of people were told, specifically I hear, that there was after teams, there was nothing.
Not going to be side
Uh,
events. Yeah.
and then they fired the triple threat.
Triple threat. Yeah, a brand new format that nobody was told about. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Which and again, on a day that was supposed to be a few rounds of top cuts and side events galore, we had two side event. Oh no, we had the sealed too. We forget we had that sealed event that was not something that was on our radar. We don't need any more packs
Yeah,
of Undaunted.
yep, nope, sure don't.
Um, we've spent our money on Undaunted already.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So we decided we wanted to play a different. We wanted to play teams. It was there should have been so many more side events.
Yeah, there should have been more than one specialty side event every day. There should have been several. Teams should have been way more thought out. It's like
Yeah,
historically one of the biggest formats in the game and was just an embarrassment, honestly.
yeah. Our universes ran maybe a dozen uh uh tournaments over
Yeah,
the weekend. The other card games at this event were running
just
dozens a
yeah,
day.
yeah, one after the other. They're
Um,
getting announced over the intercom very clearly. That was another big problem is we could not hear a single thing. Jelly and a few other UVS Games employees told me today that all of these things were announced. I hate to tell you this, literally nobody heard you. Literally nobody. I
yeah, if you were calling them out from the stand
yeah,
using your voice,
yep, no,
we
did
heard all
not
the other
reach us.
announcements.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep, yeah, heard all the other games perfectly fine. But yeah, so while we're working on this, Top Cuts is playing out again in probably the worst way I've ever heard Top Cuts play out. We'll take a little tangent here to explain that because rounds 8 and 9 played out the way they did the following day, with nobody really expecting that to happen, I know of two people that got stuck in traffic on the way there
yeah,
that were in contention, that were no longer in contention after round 8 as they took a game loss.
yep,
I can't even imagine how upset I would be.
yeah,
I would be so angry that this event played out the way this did. That does not happen if we simply play the 9 rounds like we were supposed to,
yep,
right? So I don't care who's to blame there. It's on UVS Games. Like it just is. You guys get to take the blame for that, and they should have been compensated. A and B, this should be guaranteed to us to never happen again. But Top Cuts play out. Top 32, they force their players to just jam these
yeah.
matches. They lined them up in a terrible way. I watched this. I got to watch this because we waited for teams. They
Hmm.
spent about 30 minutes trying to decide which tables they were going to use. I watched this judge pick 3 tables for 32 people, of which they used exactly one of those tables, which was wild.
Yeah,
But they forced their players into their first top 32 match, and by my understanding, it went like that the entire time. Some top 32 games would finish, and if you and your next opponent were done, you were forced into your next game. So, like, take David Toombs for instance. He finished his top 8 match and was forced right into his top 4 match because his opponent also finished their top 8 match and won.
yeah,
No water break, no nothing. They did not have any time whatsoever. They were just forced into their next game. At this high stakes event, you need a minute to just breathe, right? I've topped several of these. I need to just like be able to walk around for a minute, take a break,
yeah,
not look at these cards. That is a very, very important aspect to Top Cuts that generally every event should be providing. I understand that you guys were late, but again, unfortunately, that's kind of on you, not on the players, and they should not have to take the heat for that. And then we don't even get the pizzazz that this event should happen with, right? We
yeah,
don't get the video coverage. It is insane that two brothers topped this event, David and Patrick Toombs. They topped this event nearly with the same deck, card for card. I haven't analyzed the list, maybe actually card for card. And they were not interviewed. That's crazy. Storylines are so important in these
yeah,
games. Like, I want to see that stuff. That's what I want to see. I do not want to see one of your 57 overhauls play out their game. Don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that a ninth time in a
Yeah.
weekend.
We've already seen
Yeah,
it
I've
all
seen that
throughout the day.
plenty of times. I've played that match plenty of times this weekend. I would like to watch David get interviewed with his brother. I want to see that. What happens if they top, right? What if they're the finalists? I
Hmm.
want to know what that looks like. And yeah, it was just so poorly done. It did not feel like a national event at all. Did not even really feel like a regional. It just um no, communication was zero. There was nothing there. I just found out today, which is Friday, after the event, the Friday after the event, I'm finding out that uh, UVS Games was not the tournament organizer. Jelly was not the tournament organizer. Star City Games was the convention. That's why apparently they only had 5 judges there, and none of them I knew outside of Tony. That's crazy. It's crazy that I didn't know that. It's crazy that you let your national event lie on the back of somebody that you did not know or trust.
Yeah.
Like 400, your biggest event in history, 411 people, and you just let it be an absolute crapshoot because of several different reasons.
Yeah, and we this has been a huge stake in the community. We need what is drawing us to go to Worlds? If Worlds looks like this,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, why am I paying $1,000 to fly to Florida? Bill Stark, you posted on Twitter about how good this event was. I'm not going to dox people, I'm not going to name drop. Somebody responded to your tweet asking what the next year's OP season was going to look like. And just classic UBS games, you may as well have responded soon, TM. You say that you have plans for next year and that you learned a lot. Why do I give you a third chance? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
What makes you be deserving of a third chance? That's not an answer at all. I want actual feedback. I want to know what you guys are doing. Respond to that tweet with actionable items. This is what I've worked on. This is what I've done already.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. Soon TM is not going to work.
Yeah.
That's not going to fly me to Florida.
Yeah, the veil of vagueness
Yeah.
in their answering it's not going to draw any eyes. UVS games, you want to be big. You wanted to be in the same ballpark as Flesh and Blood and Magic the Gathering. You have to play by those rules. Then you have to
Yeah.
be accountable. uh if Flesh and Blood or Magic the Gathering, if their event ran as poorly as ours, it would be a laughing stock
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
absolutely. It would have been an absolute riot.
Yeah.
But yeah, time and time again, you guys have just like absolutely failed your community, your consumers. It's just unacceptable at this point. Day after day, you take 2 steps forward and 2.5 steps back. We actually refuse to move on.
Yeah.
It is wild. Even today, you announced some Godzilla promo
Yeah.
card, another mechanically unique thing. If there's 2 things that your community has told you to fix, it's organized play and 0 mechanically unique
Yeah.
cards.
And the greatest part about it, right, is if you read through it, if you take them by their word, this is a card that's going to end up in 7,500 trash bins when
Of
Pokemon
Pokemon
players
players. Yeah.
that open up their new pre-order and get this Godzilla. This isn't a Pokemon, you know? They're gonna look it up on TCG Player Cena listings and trash this thing.
Yep.
So you're gonna have maybe, if we get real unlucky, maybe 100 floating around in the community, which is real bad for a mechanically unique character card.
Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely. But yeah, it's just, again, unacceptable. You've seen it on Discord, you've seen it on Facebook, you've seen it on Twitter. Your community's now finally just tired of this. I'm tired of the what ends up being lies because you guys literally cannot follow through on anything whatsoever. Tired of the lies. You you've done so many things to attempt to improve your community that have backfired every time. I've seen you guys try to collect content creators outside of your card game. We've sent them product. We've done all of these things. They go right back to Digimon. They go right back to Pokemon. They go right back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because those companies know what they're doing. They treat their player base correctly. They have real events that fire. They have actual cash prizing. There's no reason for these content creators to stay with our card game as it's not making them money.
Yeah. You guys, you have the leg up at being one of the best mechanically played games
100%.
in trading card games,
My
hands
favorite
down.
game by far.
Uh, but your mismanagement of these large events and the community as a whole is going to be the downfall of this game,
Yeah,
if anything can be, right? Because like we said, we had a ton of fun playing the game.
yeah.
We had, playing with the homies, playing on the trip there, practicing. Playing
Playing
the
with the
game
community. Yeah,
is great.
yeah.
On our Discord, we play with people over webcam. If we have
Yep,
to, we play over
yep.
TTS.
Every day of the week we are running games. Your game is, as Andrew Holder has put it before, your game is fucked up good.
Yeah.
It is insane how good your game is. Again, my personal favorite game by far. Your community is amazing. I have made so many friends in just the few years that I've been playing your card game. I love the community. Unfortunately, that cannot be what sells your events anymore. It's just not enough. You have to meet us halfway there at minimum.
So UVS games, take a look at this. Take a look at what your community is saying in your Discord, on your Twitter. We need answers. We need to know why we should show up to Worlds.
Yeah, prove to us. I've been told by several of your development teams, several of your employees, that you watch every single video posted on your card game. Prove that right now. Please let us know in the comments what you're actually doing. Not soon TM, not we're going to announce an announcement, none of that. Show me actionable items that you're actively working on right now to improve next year's organized play season, please. But yeah, that's going to be it for nationals.
Yeah.
Again, the community is sick. We love you guys. I had
Yeah.
so much fun talking to the few people that walked up to me about the channel. That was sick. We're a baby channel, and y'all are still out there watching us. That was awesome. Playing the games with the homies, like Edgar said, super, super dope. We're just kind of done with the attitude of UVS games.
Yeah.
So, hope you guys liked the video. Catch us next time for some jet burn stuff coming up.
Peace.